What's going on YouTube? Just doing a quick video of the 75, show you a little bit of the changes I made. Did a slight rescape, not a whole lot, but just a little bit. If you notice on the left side, the rocks that are up there, I went ahead and I had random rocks scattered throughout the tank. I just went ahead and brought them all together in the same spot, and I pulled that rock patch up to the front of the glass, moved it all the way up to the front. The reason for doing that is because that's where all the food falls when I feed them in the morning. And the spot fin shiners, the bigger they get, the more that they end up stealing from the rest of them. And I wanted to make sure that enough food fell down in for the darters, and it fell in among the rocks where only they could get to it. You know, typically they feed, they get enough food all right, but I just wanted to make sure, just something to make sure. Also, I had originally tried to carpet that area with dwarf sage, and just because that's where all the food fell and everything like that, plants just were getting uprooted and stuff like that there, so I just wanted to cover that area up. I went ahead and took the dwarf sage that I have and went ahead and moved it over here down on the right side. Hopefully that'll fill in again, or hopefully it'll fill in. The dirt is kind of deep in this tank. I mean, there's a real thick gravel cap, so the dwarf sage has been pretty slow in growing, but it was encouraging when I was pulling it up. I wasn't thinking that it was really growing at all. I thought it was just kind of maintaining, but it was encouraging when I pulled it up to see a lot of runners coming off. The dwarf sage was and several of them were developing runners, and also some baby plants that I found that were kind of growing, just barely peeking out of the gravel at that point. So that was kind of encouraging. So hopefully they'll root in again and just start to fill in that area. Also, just really want this back area right here. Really hoping I can fill that in with the chainsword, the pygmy chainsword. It's doing okay. Some of the problem I had with that was just the same thing that I had with the dwarf sage. Was where I had originally planted it was where the food was falling most of the time, and so a lot of it was getting uprooted. But there's a little bit of pygmy chainsword left there. I may try and pull some out of another tank and put it in there just to try and fill that area in and get that to fill in that back area right by the right in front of the Ludwigia by the sword plant. I moved the heater over. Someone suggested moving the heater over to the side behind some of the plants to kind of make it a little less noticeable. It was right in the middle, right behind that sword plant, and so I mean it's just kind of sticking out really bad. So I moved it over to the left side. You can still see it, but it'll as the Ludwigia grows back in, it'll cover it up some more. Yeah, that's about all I've done to this tank. I haven't really done, like I said, it was only a little rescape, but it was just mainly the rocks and just the and that was about it. I haven't really changed a whole lot in this tank. It's going really good. Honestly, I don't have to do water changes on this tank that often. I mean, I was at one point in time doing 50% water changes every week, but now that the tank is really established and the plants are growing really well, I don't have the 40 fish that were in here before. I mean, I've still got about 30 fish in here, but they're all smaller, and so the bioload's not as much. And so honestly, I can let this tank go several weeks without doing a water change, probably 3 or 4 weeks without doing a water change. And the algae growth is minimal, and the tank still is doing really well. Water parameters are just fine. Nitrate levels are fine. Zero ammonia and nitrite. So this tank is pretty well balanced at this point. So just really happy about that. This tank is getting to be a lot easier to maintain. I was putting a ton of time into it before, just constantly doing water changes, just really wanting to make sure everything was perfect in the tank. And now that it's established itself, I kind of sit back and enjoy this tank more instead of more watching the tank rather than working on the tank. Yeah, I've got a little bit of BBA, blackbeard algae, growing on the driftwood. I can do some spot treatments with Flourish Excel, and I think that'll eventually go away. But for the most part, everything in this tank is doing really well. It's getting to be that time of year for spawning season. As you can see, the spot fin shiners are really just that one male spot fin shiner is just really starting to show some really cool color. I mean, for all the fish that I have in this tank, I honestly think the color on the spot fin shiner is the coolest, just because of the way it reflects the light, and it's really hard to catch it on camera. But just the way the you know, his back shines, and the different colors that come off of him when the light reflects off him, he just looks really awesome. And the white tips on the fins, and he's starting to get some yellow tint to the fins as well. I mean, he just looks incredible. I love watching him. He's probably my favorite fish in this tank right now. But anyways, yeah, tank's doing really good. Really excited about it, really happy about it. You know, that part of me that always wants to change things, always wants to do more with it. You know, I got to go ahead and keep that in check, because right now I just love the way this tank is, the way it's going, and I just don't want to mess up a good thing. I still may try and add 1 or 2 more spot fin shiners, or you know, something like that. Maybe I don't know, maybe some kind of smaller chub or something, just to add another size differential. But I don't want to change too much with this tank. I really just like the way this tank looks. I just love watching this tank. I just want to let this tank go, let the rainbow shiners mature, see what their colors turn into, and yeah, I just want to let this tank be for a while. So anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later.